Hey guys, how's it going? Josh from Not Just Your Average Joe here, coming at you guys with another yo-yoing review. Alright, so today we are talking about the Yoyofactory Edge. This is a little bit of an interesting tutorial. Not tutorial. This is an interesting review because recently I asked you guys in the last review if you guys wanted me to do reviews on the yo-yos in my collection, and I got a couple of responses. Mind you guys, I am going to still do those reviews. I'm just doing this one first to get it out the way because I got this yo-yo like 3 or 4 days after I did that review, so I'm like, you know what, I might as well just do this now, get this out the way, and then we can keep going on. So, for all the people who commented in the last one, let's just be patient, please. Let's get into the background of this yo-yo. So this yo-yo is Evan Nagau's signature. It comes in this collectible case where they put holes in the back of this so that you can mount this on walls. Personally, I have no real use for it. I mean, it's cool to have, it's cool to just, you know. The case, I think, itself is pretty cool because this is like a really expensive yo-yo, and it's cool to have a little carrying case for it because I will not be bringing this yo-yo outside unless I have anything to cover it. So, yeah, I like this case. It's really cool. Let's get into the aesthetics of this yo-yo. Alright, so right out of the box, you get this amazing looking yo-yo. It's nice red. It looks kind of pinkish in real life, and the camera picks it up way more red than it actually looks. I mean, it's red, obviously, but it looks a little bit more pinkish in real life. If we just compare it between these two yo-yos, which one actually look about the same on camera, but still, this yo-yo is absolutely beautiful looking. I feel like if Iron Man had a yo-yo, this would be his yo-yo. Like, this yo-yo looks absolutely beautiful. You have this is a bimetal yo-yo, so you have obviously the aluminum body, and then you have these steel rings right here. And actually what I think is really cool what they did here is they put the engravings for the yo-yo on the side. So you have the Edge, and then you have an Evan Nagau, and then you have Yoyofactory. As I said before, this is Evan Nagau's signature, so that makes sense of why that is there. And yeah, so it leaves the inside very clean and very open, so you can do whatever you want in here. And let's actually get into that. Alright, so as I said before, they engraved everything on the outside, so you have the inside. The inside consists of, I would say 3 main rings on the inside. So the first ring is obviously the thumb grind ring right here, where this is for claw grinds, thumb grinds. It's nothing special, it's good, it works, and the anode's great, so everything works perfectly. They sanded this really well, it's really polished, really smooth, it feels great on the hands, and you can do those types of grinds for a very long time, so yeah. The second ring, you have this outer ring, this little bowl-ish area right here, and then in the middle is the axle seat. So this place, surprisingly good for finger grinds, even with this little hub right here. It's actually surprisingly, can horizontal finger grind for a long time. So I'm actually pretty happy with that, actually. I wasn't expecting that, especially with this little hub, but it actually goes for a very long time. So yeah, it's cool and interesting. And then you have this inner ring, which is like, it's like a semi-ring, and it's obviously for the bearing seat. With yo-yos, especially nowadays with all the huge caps, the cap is very deep, so you need a place for the axle to go, and that's obviously going into the caps, and then you need this area right here. It doesn't really have much of a COYW vibe, even though you usually see that in COYW yo-yos. Kind of like I said in my Top Deck review, where it gave off like a COYW vibe. This doesn't really. It feels very unique to this yo-yo, and I really like it. It looks cool, it looks great. I've tried to horizontal finger grind in the middle. It's really hard. I don't think you can. I've tried a couple of times and I just wasn't successful. I don't know if that's what it was intended for, since it has a little dip inside of it, but I really don't think that's what they made it for. But yeah, when I first threw down this yo-yo, I had a couple of weird things to say about it, because I thought it was like too light for some reason. And the thing is, it's because the bearing that they give you is really freaking quiet. Actually, this is not the same bearing I had with it. And it was just a center track bearing, obviously standard with all Yoyofactory yo-yos. They all usually have a center track in them, or a flat bearing. And So when I got that, I felt really, really light because of that. And like, I don't know why, but I think it's this thing where you can't have my bearing too quiet, because then I can't hear the yo-yo like going through different modes of string. Like I don't want it to be like really, really like deathly loud, but I just want to have a little bit of that like, you can hear that ringing noise right there. I just want to have that sometimes. Just having that is enough for me usually. All right, so this yo-yo is actually throwing it down right here. Dead smooth, just absolutely amazing. No vibe whatsoever. If you throw it down wrong the first time, then it may have a little vibe, but that's just like throwing it down. That's more user error than it is product error. But I would say that changing the bearing out to something nice and good could be helpful. I mean, I don't know what your play style is. If you're like really completely silent yo-yos where you can't hear them at all, then alright, go for it. But for me personally, I like to have a little bit of ringing just so I can hear the yo-yo on the string, and it helps me play a little bit better. I don't know what that was with me. It felt too light when I was doing that, so I don't know what it was. But yeah, I would say I would change the bearing. But other than that, it was really nice. I really liked it when I first got it, and yeah. So let's get into the specs. Alrighty then. So the diameter of this yo-yo is 55.0 millimeters. Width of this yo-yo is 46.76 millimeters, and the gap width of this yo-yo is 4.50 millimeters, and the weight of this yo-yo is 65.2 grams. And I said before, it came with a center track bearing, size C, and I changed that to a concave size C bearing, and it's the same. It's pretty new. It's has not had any lubage to it yet. I haven't cleaned that bearing yet, so it's brand new. So there's no effect on play based on the bearing. And the response is the regular 19 millimeter slim response pads. So now that we're past the specs, let's talk about how wide this yo-yo. This yo-yos are pretty freaking wide yo-yo. It's taller than all the yo-yos in my collection. It even beats the top deck, which I recently got. And it may not look as wide as it is in real life, but this yo-yo is like pretty freaking wide. Like, it's crazy, and it makes sense because Evan Nagao, his style, he really likes really wide yo-yos. He competed with the Yoyofactory monster for most of his life, and it makes sense that he would come up with a really wide yo-yo. Now, that width, maybe for certain people, it may be kind of hard to get into that. I've been playing with really wide yo-yos, really large angular yo-yos, so I like that style of yo-yo. I really like the way that they feel, the way that they play, so I am used to that. But if you're somebody who's been playing with, say, like monkey finger yo-yos, which are still great yo-yos, but they're really small, they're really more compact, they have more density inside of them, they're not as wide and as large as most yo-yos, then you may have a little bit of getting used to with this yo-yo. But I still feel like it's great. You can land everything with these types of yo-yos. This yo-yo especially, since it's so light and it's really rim weighted, hence the bimetal, it really allows you to do some crazy stuff with this yo-yo. And even though for some people it may not be the best because it's too wide, getting used to it is really worth it, because this yo-yo just will up your play so much you won't even believe it. Now let's talk about the weight. So the weight is 65 grams. This is probably one of the lightest yo-yos I have, besides all my plastics and this yo-yo right here, the Replay Metal. Now, as I said before, I've expressed this in previous reviews, I really kind of hate light yo-yos. I really like heavy, hard-hitting yo-yos that have a real feel and that you can really feel when you hit the string down. But once again, this goes back into changing the bearing. Changing this bearing actually helped the yo-yo for me a lot. I don't know why. It feels a little bit more stable, much more. It doesn't feel heavier, but it feels like when I'm playing with it, it doesn't feel completely out of control. It feels like, all right, it's light, but I have control over it, and this is what I can do my stuff now. Yeah, it's kind of got that top deck feel, except for I feel like it feels like it's more stable. Not stable. I feel like it has. It's less hollow than the top deck, I feel. It feels like it was really made really well, and it feels really thick and compact, even though it's still light. It's a very interesting feeling, and I think that's the feeling of the bimetal. I think that's why this bimetal craze is going up, because it's just a lot of people, you don't really, it's hard to describe it actually. Like, you have to feel it to understand what I'm talking about, but I would say it feels light, but it feels heavy at the same time. And I think that has to do with the rim weighting. I think that's why they take aluminum and then they take steel, which may be a little bit heavier than aluminum, to make the edges really stable, and you feel lots of weight on the rims, but you can still have the light body of a yo-yo. So you can keep your yo-yo light, but you can still have it very stable and be able to play very well. Or at least, I think. I could be wrong. I'd say this yo-yo actually performs well in pretty much all styles. If you're going fast, it's going to really help you. If you're more into tech, I mean, it's really good for that. I think it shines extra well in speed, but it's still great and awesome for tech and stuff like that, especially with me because I'm more of a techie player. I do have a couple speed combos, especially my front mount combos, extremely stable, go shreds forever, it's crazy. Yeah, I think what I can compare it to is it's kind of like a bimetal version of this. This is the replay metal. This is it's like a wider, much more stable version of this. And I love this yo-yo from before. It was I loved just the feel of it, and I loved that used to be one of my favorite competition yo-yos before the move. So I really like this yo-yo. I need to put this in the next Iron Man movie. Freaking next Avengers movie. He needs to be playing with a yo-yo, and this is gonna be a yo-yo. Now, I will say it's pretty pricey. I got this one on the 4th of July sale at Yo-Yo USA. It's pricey. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's very pricey. It's gonna hit that bill. I got this for about $95. So it's this by itself, just if you get it just stock, then it's gonna set you back about $105. And yeah, I mean, I would say it's worth $105, but I don't really like spending more than $70 to $80 on a yo-yo. Personally, I only got this because it was on sale. I'm like, when am I going to get a better sale than this? And Evan Gao is one of my favorite players, and our play styles are pretty similar, so I thought that it would be a great idea to get this yo-yo, and it was worth it for me. You're going to have to gauge whether it's going to be worth it for you. I wouldn't say if you've been playing with really compact, small yo-yos all your life that this probably won't be the best option for you. Right now, you should probably start getting more wider yo-yos like the Manatee or whatever, or the N5 Desperado, because then you can build up to this, which is like the mother of all freaking wide yo-yos. So that was all I have to say about it. Like, subscribe, comment, and I will see all of you guys in the next video. I will be reviewing the C3 yo design move, and then soon to come after that, I'll be reviewing 2 other yo-yos from a couple of commenters. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time.